Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. I think we ought to go ahead and start. If other participants want to join through the course of the meeting, I'll try and do my best to pay attention. So if you see me looking off screen or off camera, I'm probably letting someone into the meeting. This is what your screen looks like here on Zoom. And tonight we're going to have a couple of different ways that you can ask a question. Right now, you're all on mute. You can hold your space bar down to talk and ask a question. You can also use the chat symbol right here. If you click on this, it will give you the ability to type in a question. And I'm going to be monitoring that. On the call with us today, we have several team members. Ross Brantley, who's with TDK, part of the development team. We have Caleb Thorne, who's with Reagan Smith and a part of our engineering team. I am the landscape architect and land planner, working with this team on the design and the master plan for Vintage. This is a meeting that is required by the City of Franklin, and we are following their rules and their protocol. We have established securities through the Zoom meeting to make this a secure way to hold this neighborhood meeting. If you do have problems, if you're having connection problems or audio problems, feel free to use the chat icon as well to type me a message and let me know. This is a recorded meeting, and this meeting will be posted to the City of Franklin's website once we've concluded our neighborhood meeting presentation and discussion tonight. So the property is located along I-65 and along Oak Meadow Drive. There are two properties that we as a team are looking at for development. Both properties are currently zoned regional commerce RC6. The property that's alongside I-65 in this location will remain RC6. We're not proposing a rezoning of this property, and it is not included in the development proposal that we're sharing with you tonight. We are discussing this property here that's located just south of Oak Meadow Drive. This property has been designated in Envision Franklin as neighborhood mixed use policy. Neighborhood mixed use encourages a mixture of residential and commercial uses. It encourages buildings to be brought up to the street to create pedestrian safe zone between the sidewalk or on the sidewalk between the street and the building. There is a maximum height of 3 stories outside of McHatcher Parkway. And it's encouraged to have a creative, lively, walkable neighborhood with restaurants, shops, grocery stores, and workplaces. So kind of integrated into the retail and office environment. So this is the overall master plan. Again, for the property that is alongside I-65, this will remain commercial. It's programmed predominantly with office uses. It may have some showroom space, but these buildings are planned to be 2 and 3 stories in height. Along the south side of Oak Meadow Drive.
What do you mean by showroom?
It could be furniture showroom, some kind of sales. It could be retail sales, but really more at that office scale.
All right, thank you.
Sure. So this is our master plan for the south side of Oak Meadow Drive. We're proposing a mixed-use development plan. The proposed rezoning is for PD district, so it's a planned district. The plan that you're seeing here, if adopted by the board, mayor, and aldermen, is the plan that we would be moving forward with. We would not be able to make substitutions or take away the mixed-use components, and these buildings here along Oak Meadow Drive. The first three buildings here that we're showing are the mixed-use buildings. They have office on the ground floor. They have 2 stories of residential above them. The 2 buildings that are closer to I-65 are all residential buildings, so residential buildings along the ground floor and on the upper floors as well. We're using these buildings to transition to the lower grades behind them along the parking lot. So on the back side of these buildings, you'd see a 4-story elevation with a 3-story elevation along Oak Meadow Drive. The elevation of the architecture then reflects that commercial ground floor. We will have residential uses here in the middle, with predominantly the commercial here on the corners. And you can see here on the lower elevation here with the office suites that are covered by the awnings and identified by the more commercial windows. This is a perspective view of our amenity area here on the right. Oak Meadow Drive is here on the left, with the ground floor commercial uses and the residential up here above. You can see that lower floor here to the residential below. On the corner of Royal Oaks and Oak Meadow Drive, we're proposing 2 restaurants totaling 75,000 square feet. The first restaurant has a drive-through and is a more casual dining restaurant. The second restaurant is more of a family-style sit-down restaurant. This area that is directly on the corner here is an outdoor patio that would be covered by this roof for weather events, but really giving an opportunity to have more outdoor dining in Franklin. This is an outdoor patio as well that'll be alongside the creek and will be the really the welcoming threshold and entry off of the pedestrian bridge that connects over to the amenity area of the swimming pool. We are also proposing a 10.6 acre public park. This is a park that would be maintained by the multifamily, the mixed use development, but would be open with public access to all residents of Franklin. It would include a half-mile loop walking trail that would be 8 foot wide and provide pedestrian access back to the restaurant area. So you can go over here, pick up lunch, and then have picnics in the park. So with all development plans, with all proposed plans in the city of Franklin, we were required to do a traffic analysis of the existing roadways and intersections. Our team at Reagan Smith did an analysis of all of the intersections that you see circled here. That report is then submitted to the city of Franklin for review. The city of Franklin hires a third-party traffic engineer to review that report independent of our team. Their findings then, they prescribe off-site road improvements, and those are the off-site road improvements that are required to be done with new development. So the way in which traffic engineers analyze intersections is based upon its score, its rating. An A score is very, very good. It means there's very little delay at that intersection for entering and exiting traffic. An F intersection is the lowest score and means that likely someone is there for a long period of time, maybe as much as 80 seconds, waiting for the opportunity to go through the intersection or make a turning movement at the intersection. The scores are different for signalized intersections than they are for unsignalized intersections. So this is the morning, AM, morning peak hour scores in 5 years without our development. So this anticipates the background growth of future development throughout the city of Franklin and its impact at these intersections in 5 years from now. So we are taking into consideration other growth other than just our development and looking at what impacts that has for the future and how our development would play a role in that in the future. in the evening, this is a PM peak hour scores, and you can see that in several instances on several of the intersections, they're lower than in the morning. So we have a future 2024 rating of an F here. This is for traffic that is southbound off the on-ramp, turning either to go east or west on Murfreesboro Road. So this tells us certainly we need to consider some investments on Royal Oaks with the proposed development. All development in the city of Franklin, all uses in the city of Franklin are required to pay arterial road impact fees and collector road impact fees. All of the roads around this proposed site are arterial roads. And those arterial roads include Murfreesboro Road and Royal Oaks and Mac Hatcher. So those are the three arterial roads. There are no collector roads within this area. But we're going to be requesting to the board, mayor, and aldermen to use the total of the $1.7 million to go toward these offsite road improvements. And I'm going to be walking you through the road improvements that have been discussed. So first is this stretch of Highway 96 and the intersections of Royal Oaks and the interstate I-65. Our team and the third-party traffic engineer have discovered that with some signal adjustments, with some timing adjustments, we can accommodate a lot more traffic through this intersections, through both intersections than we do today. And so those signal timing will be adjusted at these intersections with our improvements. So on this slide here, I've taken Royal Oaks and I've turned it 90 degrees so that Highway 96 is over here on the right side, and Aldi is to the north, Aldi's here, and Publix is down here to the south. So our proposal here is first talking about kind of the Starbucks and Riverside Drive. Right now, there are a lot of cars that back up down Riverside Drive waiting to turn in, queue into Starbucks. We're going to be giving Starbucks their own turn lane. And this is going to allow for a better traffic management here and free flow of traffic. On Royal Oaks itself, we currently have 2 left-bound turn lanes toward downtown Franklin. We have 2 lanes that go straight across, and we have 2 right turn lanes. The amount or the capacity for that left turn movement is double what is needed, even in the future, for what it is today. We're going to be removing one of those left-bound turn lanes, and we're going to have the 2 turn lanes go straight across. That will give us 3 turn lanes that turn toward I-65 to the east. Right now, the 2 turn lanes that are there stop just right about, well, I guess they're a little bit further down, stop right about here. We're going to be extending the storage area in those turn lanes all the way down to the second exit, the second access point to Publix. These are the 2 failing intersections, the one in front of Aldi and Publix and the one in front of Rand Place. Our engineers are proposing to convert this median cut here to left in only. So left in here into Aldi and a left in here into Publix. This would stop someone's ability to drive all the way across. And if you do want to go all the way across, it encourages you obviously to go to the signalized intersection just to the north, or to Oak Meadow signalized intersection just to the south. At Rand Place, the proposal here is to eliminate this median cut. Again, to prevent vehicles from jutting across from one side to the other at this non-signalized intersection, and forcing those vehicles, if you do want to continue across, to go to the signal or to the signal to make the right turn. So if you're at Firestone and you want to go northbound on Royal Oaks, you simply go around to the signalized intersection at Oak Meadow Drive. So I did not talk about Mac Hatcher. Mac Hatcher Parkway is in design right now for the second 2 lanes to be added from Highway 96 to Columbia Drive. That analysis and design will occur over the next few years. We're anticipating a start on that in the next 4 to 5 years. We assume that it will take approximately 2.5 to 3 years to construct. So with that moving ahead, we're going to leave Mac Hatcher's improvements in the state's hands. And the city would prefer that the arterial road impact fees, collector road impact fees, be used on non-state routes. And that's what we are proposing here on Royal Oaks. So you'll see over here on the right side a table. And this table shows the AM peak hour intersection scores. And today in 2019, we've created a column here that shows and highlights what those scores are today. So at the Highway 96 and Royal Oaks intersection, for instance, we currently have a delay of 35.6 seconds, and it's a level of service D. At most of the time during the day, a vehicle at this intersection can get through the intersection in one traffic signal cycle. Projected in 2024, without our improvements, that level of service D changes to a delay of 43.1 seconds. With the improvements that we're proposing, we're able to keep that intersection at today's time about 36.8 seconds in time. So reducing that future delay without the improvements. Again, you can see here at the failing intersections, by creating those better controls at those intersections, those drop down to a level of service B. The other intersections are relatively the same with very little change in the time of delay at the intersection. In the evening, then we have, again, we have the failing intersection here on I-65 during the evening peak hour. And I'll point that out. Today, that existing intersection is a level of service E with a 75-second delay. It's not until you add the future background traffic that it goes to level of service F with a 92-second delay. With our timing signal adjustments, we're able to reduce that to 10 seconds to 82.2 second delay at that intersection. The true solution to I-65 and the interchange will be the state's improvements to the I-65 interchange. Again, the two failing intersections here along Royal Oaks with the lane closure and the controlled left turning movements, those are improved to level service of B and C. Sorry, hit the wrong button. Okay. So one other consideration that the City of Franklin engineering staff has asked us to look into is a safety consideration. This is not a consideration that would result in improved capacity, but does result in a safer stretch of roadway. And that is between Royal Oaks and I-65. From 2017 to 2019, there have been 105 total crashes within just this stretch of roadway. No incapacitating injuries or fatalities, but there have been 95 property damage crash reports. This is about 3.3 times the state's average for a road of this type. And the consideration here is to add a 5-foot grass median along this stretch of road. We have several meetings over the next few days with the local business owners that are here to talk with them about this proposal, as well as talk about maybe creating some interconnectivity between the businesses. This is decision has not been made. This is not a final design by any means, but is something that is being considered, and we'd love to have your input on that as well. So the Vintage mixed-use development will be improving all of the areas that you're seeing here in blue. The commercial development along I-65 will be making the improvements that you see here in green. The Riverside Drive connection is pretty close to being submitted to the City of Franklin Engineering Department for approval. We probably have another 30 days before that submittal is made, and probably another 30 to 45 days before that plan would be approved. But the development team would like to move forward with connecting Riverside Drive in the very near future to create the full loop. So we have a planning commission date that's established for May the 28th. That is a public meeting. It has not been determined yet whether it will be a meeting at City Hall or if it will be an online meeting, but we will be sending out mail notifications to you as well, notifying you and giving you instructions for the Planning Commission meeting. With that, I'm going to open it up to questions. And again, you have a couple of different ways that you can ask a question. Feel free to use the chat, or feel free to hold your space bar down to speak.
Hey, Greg, this is Lisa Smith, and I have a question.
Hi, Lisa.
Will the public park provide access to Watson Branch Creek?
Sure, that's a great question. It's not proposed to right now, but it will have a public access easement, and if Cross Creek would like to have a connection, then that could be possible.
Thank you.
Greg, what about the parking for the public park? Where would the people park for that?
We're going to be providing on-street parking out here along Oak Meadow Drive that will be in the City of Franklin's public right-of-way. That would probably be the most accommodating place for someone to park for the park. Any other questions?
I'll play.
Maybe, yeah, well, I guess one last question. Talk about the, I know some of the residents there at Summerby mentioned maybe like maybe striping for like walkways. I don't think there's going to be an intersection there between that first building and Royal Oaks, but just some of the walkability, maybe to the commercial buildings and Summerby.
Yes, we will. There is a pedestrian connection here at the Miles. We are in conversation right now with the engineering department about creating some pedestrian connections directly across Oak Meadow Drive. Oak Meadow Drive currently has a 30, Ross, I think a 35 mile per hour, 30 mile per hour speed limit.
That's correct.
Yeah. 30 mile. We're going to be requesting that the aldermen consider reducing the speed limit along Oak Meadow Drive to 25 miles per hour. That's what it is through the rest of the residential neighborhood to the south. And then it changes speeds. So we'd love for that speed of Oak Meadow Drive to be reduced to 25 mile per hour so that it's consistent along Oak Meadow Drive. That would certainly make these pedestrian crossings here much safer. So.
So Greg, I have a random question, which I'm good at.
Sure.
So what's the mindset behind having, as you call it, casual dining with a drive-through? To me, that's fast food alongside a sit-down restaurant. I mean, I'm not a traffic engineer, but you would think that a fast food restaurant, which that's what it is, right?
Right.
It's
Right.
going to have a little more of an impact from a traffic perspective. And now I'm going to mute because I have a house full of teenagers.
That's fine. We want to find two restaurants that are very compatible with each other. One that maybe gives a little bit more of that, the quicker option for people who need to drive through, grab something quick as they're heading home. Really, this area along Royal Oaks, I think, could benefit. I live near here, so it could benefit from having some additional restaurant options and adding another restaurant where people could have that, casual dining experience here on the corner of Oak Meadow and Royal Oaks. One, we really think it could be a significant.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I guess I just didn't understand the two side by side. And so when you look at this image, the casual dining's on the corner.
On the corner, with outdoor
So how
seating,
is
the outdoor patios.
The outdoor seating's going to go east. Is that what that?
It's
Okay.
here. It faces to the north.
It's
And
hard to
then-
see your cursor. That's why I'm asking.
And then we have outdoor dining right here as well. It's kind of along the creek side.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Brady, this is Ross. I think that's a great question. It's interesting what's going on with the COVID virus and how that's affecting the restaurant industry. I was just reading an article a couple weeks ago that Pat Martin, who owns Martin's Barbecue,
Oh, yeah.
and he talked about dining room space and what that's going to look like coming out of the COVID virus, and the need for more takeout service. And so, right now we're still at the early stages of what's going to happen with restaurant development coming out of this virus. But I think you're going to see more and more demand for takeout and outdoor seating. And so we obviously didn't plan for the COVID virus and what the impacts of that might look like, but I can begin to see things like takeout and outdoor seating as a need for restaurant owners as they plan going forward in the future.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you think about the things that you took for granted and how important they were before, and fast forward 8 weeks, like McDonald's and Chick-fil-A, all those people are killing it, while all of your more locally owned restaurateurs are, really struggling to go back to a model they weren't created for.
We have a question here on the chat. Do we expect a lot of traffic to the park? We expect it to be a place where people can go to exercise, to walk. We have discussed adding a pet park to the public pet park as an opportunity here, a fenced-in area. We have not discussed a playground. We are open to some amenities that the neighbors might be interested to see. There's really not a public park in this little area, this little community niche of Franklin. And so if there are some elements of the park that you would be interested in seeing or having incorporated into this, again, it's going to be public access. So please let us know. We're open to listening. Any final questions?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can now. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I have a question. Where do you come into the drive-through? Is it going to be off of Royal Oaks for
Sure. We'll have 2 access points for the restaurants. Off of Oak Meadow Drive, you'll have to access the restaurants from this direction. The city of Franklin will not permit another access point that close to Royal Oaks. And right here will be a right in, right out. So the median will prevent you from being able to go all the way out and make a left turn. If you want to make a left turn, you'll have to come up here and exit onto Oak Meadow and then turn left. We have another question on the chat. Is the fast food restaurant a must-have? Some of the concern along Valley View is the building behind them. Not sure I know exactly where Valley View is. We've had some conversations about the fast food and the drive-through. We haven't determined who the user is right now. We've had some interest from ice cream and yogurt and more of a dessert approach to more of the fast food. Is it a must-have? No, we're still in that kind of early phases of establishing the entitlements on the property. So I'll take a look at the building behind Valley View so that I understand a little bit more of what you're talking about. So Valley View is the one you can see on the screen with the curve in Creekstone. All right, let me switch back over. I'll have to do a little bit more research on that.
Hey, Greg, it's the houses that are closest to the proposal.
Okay, all along this edge in Creekstone neighborhood?
Yep, right there. That road is Valley View.
Okay, all right. From there to the restaurants, you're about 550 feet away. And we're not removing any of the trees or any of the vegetation or any of the landscape that's through there. But we're still open to input on that. Sure.
One thing, can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, we can. Right?
On space bars.
Your microphone's going in and out a little bit, though.
Sorry. Is that any better?
Yes.
One thing I do want to mention, and I'm trying to be objective as if I were a property owner that lived over here. One thing I want to share, we've got a similar development in front of my neighborhood right now. And one of the first things I was curious about is who the developer was that was getting ready to do this development and what their relationship is with the
We can't hear
community.
you, Russ.
Here, I'll hold the mic up closer. One of the things I wanted to mention is the fact that this development, as we're proposing it, we're planning, our intentions are to own this long term. All the owners of this development live in Middle Tennessee and are close to this community. And our intentions are to build this development and own it long term. We do not have any intentions to build this and sell it once it's built out. And so it means a lot to us what goes in on the corner and who these commercial users are, because we want to make sure that being owners long term, that we're going to maintain our value. We certainly don't want to have to worry about property values going down, and we realize the impacts of who those users are and how it can affect real estate values. And so that's something that we're taking into consideration as long-term owners out here.
Any final questions? If you do want to speak, feel free. You can hold down your space bar and we'll allow you to speak, or you can, again, type in the chat. No final questions? Well, thank you all very much for your time. We really appreciate it. If you do have any questions you haven't thought of, feel free to email me. I'm happy to answer.